Hello, this is Jeff Altgilberts, and it's May 12th, and this is Monday Mentoring Night, or if you're on the other side of the world, it might be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whenever you hear this call. But we want to welcome all of you to it. I'm a Platinum International Diamond with 4Life Research, and I'm excited to be able to have this time, this opportunity to share just some thoughts tonight. It's been a busy week. I'm actually getting ready to leave Wednesday morning for a 2-week trip around Asia, flying to Hong Kong and then to Singapore, and then Singapore, spend some time there, and then off to Jakarta, Indonesia, and then after that, then back to Hong Kong. We spend 5 days with our Russian leaders who are coming over for the Great Escape, and I'm going to have an opportunity to spend time with them. I did that before in Turkey and a few years ago, and that was a fascinating trip. So it'll be interesting to meet some of the leaders again from Russia. We have new leaders as well, and then some of the leaders from Mongolia that will be there, and then finally going to go to the Philippines, where we're going to have our anniversary celebration there. We're expecting over 4,000 at that event, and my band is going to be they're going to be there, and so we're going to finish that event up with a great party with some fantastic music. It's going to be really great. What I want to talk about, and before I even get into that, so I just want to make mention right now that because I will be traveling, and I'm traveling with some of the corporate leaders of the company, it's going to be very difficult for me to do these calls. So I will resume these calls the first Monday in June. That will be my plan. Hopefully my body will adjust back to the time zone, and I'll be awake. If not, I'll have to have somebody beside me just sort of shaking me. But that's when we'll resume our calls. So try to keep that in mind. And now what I'd like to do is just, I was thinking about really the motivating desire that we all have to really develop in ourselves to be successful in this business. Network marketing is doing so well around the world. 4Life has grown. It's probably, in my belief, the most stable company out there, simply because of the fact that we have science and people get real results from our products. Real results. So they come back, and we have no competition. We are the transfer factor company out there. So when you think about all that, and when you look at the fact that, again, there's not a Platinum International Diamond in South America, Japan, Korea. Japan is the number 2 world market out there. Number 2 country, Korea 3. Taiwan, there's no platinum. There's only 1 platinum in all of Asia. How much opportunity do you have, my friend? I can remember years ago on stage I said, what is your excuse? If a man like me came into this business broke, bankrupt, I had to sell a junk truck to get started, and I got $400 for that junk truck. $400. $200 I put into products. The other $200, I needed groceries. The only thing that made me successful back then, other than finding the right company, was my power of belief. My power of belief. See, there was no option for failure. There was no option. I didn't have a plan B. Many times the reason why people fail in this business is they have a plan B and they think too much about it. Or they have a sense of false security. False security meaning that they have a job, they've had this job for a long time, and so they're content, they're comfortable. But there's only 2 words between you and security, or that false security, and that's you're fired. employed, maybe you, like me, you might lose your major accounts. There's a shift. It's like that book, Who Moved My Cheese? Basically about mice that got so used to always finding the cheese where it was always going to be, and one day it wasn't there. Somebody moved it. We can go through that. See, that was the thing, and certainly I was in that, I guess in that belief that I had security because I had accounts for 10 years, over 10 years. So I was used to it, very used to it. Money coming in, always coming in, until it wasn't coming in. Somebody moved my cheese. I didn't have a plan B. I mean, I knew then I didn't want to employ people anymore. Second, I knew also what my father always said about me was true, that I was unemployable. In other words, I just was one of those people that I liked to do my own thing. And I didn't want to be regulated or told, when to come in, when to go to work, and when I can go home, and when I can have a vacation and all that. I didn't want to be on that hamster wheel because I knew I was in a cage. The thing was, I didn't have a plan B once I lost what I had. And then, of course, I had been toying with network marketing, but I was never committed to it. It was like a hobby, so I played with it. What we have to do, my friend, is just understand that whatever we have, and I'm not saying if you have a job, quit your job. I'm not saying that. If you have a business, quit your business. I'm saying approach our business as if you don't have it. Approach our business as if you're going to lose it. And the upside is, hopefully you won't, and you'll have two incomes coming in instead of one. And you guys, your wives are going to love that. Oh, they're going to love it. I always tell people that when they join us and they think about quitting their jobs, I think premature full-time is not a good thing. Is not a good thing. And I've even told leaders that too when they'd ask me, should I quit my job? My answer to that always is, first of all, get your income in for life at least up to what you're making now in your job. And you need to have it consecutive for at least 3 months. At least 3 months. And then if you do, then sure, you can quit your job. But what I don't want to see happen is that a person comes in this business premature full-time and they're trying to get around the learning curve, and there is a learning curve to this business. And then, it doesn't happen fast enough, and all of a sudden then they have the pressure and stress of bills, and then their wife or the husband hates this business. They hate it. But if you keep your job and then work this, and that's what I did. I didn't start in this full time. I had part-time work that I did. I cleaned carpets. I cleaned floors. That's right. And so when I had time to do this, man, did I do this. I was very serious about this. Because when I left that job, I was now coming to my career. But back to my theme about the power of belief. I think in this business it goes a lot like with faith. Faith is believing in things you cannot see, realities that you cannot behold, except with the inner eye, with the mind. And I had that. I had that belief that things were going to change for me. Now at the same time, I'm not going to say that I didn't suffer depression. I did. Sure I did. Because anytime we go through a shift, anytime we go through a change, that's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. We, as humans, always like routines, because routines are predictable, aren't they? And I was at that point in my life, nothing was predictable except my beliefs. Now, the thing about it is, like any belief, just like faith, faith has to be fed, doesn't it? And when the Bible speaks about faith, or perhaps maybe a religion that you have that speaks of this subject, whatever religion that is, it has to be strengthened, doesn't it? It has to be empowered. And those are the steps that you have to really take when you approach this business. Again, you come in this business as if you just lost everything, just like I did. You lost it all. You have that sense, that feeling. And then you come in with this and say, man, I've got to make this work. This has got to work. I cannot fail. And you can also identify the reasons why you cannot fail. And it could be a whole list of things. With me, it was a thing that I had to prove to my father that I could be successful. Despite all the things that happened to me, that, like John F. Kennedy said, when the tide comes in, all ships rise. I wanted to rise, and I believe my tide came in. I found the right company. And many others in my team have that same feeling. Over 100 millionaires in my group. Their ships also rose when the tide came in. And that was the thing. But again, I saw that other people did not see it. Other people that maybe have an attitude about network marketing. They've seen other people fail. They've heard the stories. Well, I knew that was true and also in other industries. What about the real estate industry? How many people really make it? How many Donald Trumps are there? But they don't have to be a Donald Trump, do they? But how many people become financially independent in the real estate industry? Many have. That's right. But if you look at the whole percentage, probably 1%. And this would be true if you're a stockbroker or other types of industries. So the thing about it is, I learned to take negatives and say, well, yeah, that's true. Not everybody does make it in network marketing. They don't. Okay, why is that? Well, why don't they in these other industries? Then I finally realized, you know what? They didn't come in this with the kind of belief that I have, the power of belief. They're not feeding that belief. They're not reinforcing that belief. They're not strengthening that belief. And if we have to do that with faith, we certainly have to do it with belief because they're coexistent. Coexistent. Show me a person who has faith that doesn't have beliefs. Show me a person who has belief that doesn't have faith. That's right. They're coexistent. So the thing about it is, then, once we have that mindset, then we have to do things to really feed it. Many of you have heard my story that on Sundays I would go down Dream Street and I would go around where these big, beautiful homes were and manicured lawns and beautiful settings, nice cars, everything. And I would think to myself, yes, this is the way it's going to be. And this is the way my life is going to turn out. I would train my mind that way. On Sundays, making those walks. I always felt refreshed when I did that because it was as if it had already arrived. And I believed it had. But I didn't really have any money in my pocket. Most people would say, he's bipolar, something's wrong with him, call the police. Commit him. Get him off the streets. Because 18 months later, I was going into my dream home. 18 months later. That's the power of belief. And the thing is, when I met with people, when I prospected people, they knew I was absolutely sold, not just, on For Life, but also on the vision that I have, that you can change your life. It doesn't matter what happened to you, it's what you do about it. It doesn't matter how bad it is, it's how you feel about it. And to me, I didn't see failure as permanent. It's temporary. It's temporary. So the thing about it is, my perception of my life wasn't like maybe the way my family thought it was going to turn out. I mean, the way they saw me, I went right down into the toilet and kept going. What does John Maxwell say? He says, some people in the world will say, sometimes you win, sometimes you what? Lose. John says, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. You learn. And I learned a lot. And I just didn't take failure personal, because I understood it wasn't my fault what happened. It's just life. The question is now, what was I going to do about it? And the truth of the matter is, that failure was the best thing that ever happened to me. It was the best thing. Having to go through bankruptcy, having to go through loss, having to go through anxiety, having to be, in a way, demoralized by some of all that, was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because had that not happened, I might have stayed in my comfort zone. And I'd never be where I am today. And when I say where I am today, I'm talking about in terms of personal growth, the family that I have, the children that I have. I wouldn't even have them. I wouldn't even have them. I would have sold out for something so small, sacrificed something so great for something that was insignificant. A mediocre lifestyle. So it was good. Going through that loss, going through that failure, it was a good thing. And what it did, what it created, was simply a very strong belief that I could not, I had no option, I could not fail. And the thing is, what we all have to do is to understand this. You must believe in yourself. To have a belief, you must believe in yourself. You must believe that you deserve. I'm not saying be on an ego trip. I'm not talking about that. What it means simply is that you are the kind of man and you are the kind of woman that deserves the kind of future that will enrich not only yourself, but those you love around you. And those people that you do not know now that you will know later. Relationships that you're going to multiply. I mean, before I got started in this business, my circle of influence with people was very small. I only knew a handful of people. A handful of people, that's it. What about today? I've got so many friends, and I get paid out of 53 countries today. The same thing will happen to you. Relationships will multiply when you commit to this. When you develop that power of belief that you cannot be denied the future that you deserve. Because it's the things that you're committed to. And that you want to make a contribution in other people's lives and help people. I'm looking forward to meeting one family in the Philippines that I'm going to meet in, they're about 2 hours outside of Manila. Great spiritual family. And this man, he has cancer. And he's a very good father, has 3 sons and a wife. And so our family has been supporting them and helping them because he can't work. It's a sad situation, but we've been helping them out. I've never met them, but I'm going out to spend time with the family when I go out to the Philippines. I'd never had that privilege and that honor had I never found For Life. And For Life has led me to so many places, so many people, to touch so many different lives. And the same thing will happen to you. When you use this business in an unselfish way, you're going to get a lot of blessings. And the way you keep this opportunity is that you have to give it away. To keep it, you have to give it away. Share it with other people. I'm not talking about just our business opportunity. We've got so much good in our company, so many great things, like our Foundation for Life. We have a school out in the Philippines that our company has built, but we've done this in other countries. Even some of the HIV orphanages that we support, as well as our Fortify product, where we're helping so many out there right now that don't have food to have food. There's so many great things that we can do. But back to this power of belief. Keep feeding it. And then that is, surround yourselves and influence yourself with the right thoughts, with the right influences. The books that you're reading, audio books as well. I was listening to an audio right before this call. I was just laying back in a recliner just listening. Just feed your mind with great things. You're never going to find positive thoughts in newspapers. I got the Wall Street Journal, and then today I looked at it and I saw the Ukraine, all the bad things that are happening, violence, everything. I'm like, oh, good grief. You never get good news in a paper. But that's what we have to do. We just have to keep on believing that there is a greater future that we don't even understand and we've never experienced that's about to happen to us. What we have to do is understand that we have to have this power of belief in ourselves and believe that we're going to make a difference in people's lives with this opportunity. Come into it with a positive mindset. Stay positive. It's not always easy to be positive. You get around people out there in the world, a lot of them, they're beat up. And that's the reason why we need to share this opportunity with people, because they need it. And when we come in with that belief that people really need this, I don't care how rich they are, I don't care how wealthy they are, we have that belief that people really need this, man, it makes a difference. We had a party here Saturday. There were about almost 150. It's hard for me to count. And a lot of this was locals, and I had a bluegrass band come and play. And but it was nice. It was nice to be able to have just to be able to share. And then a lot of them are, most of these are not For Life people, because this was a local event we did. But they all want to know is, what in the world do you do? And then when I start explaining this business to them in simple ways, I said, it's very simple. You just share it with people, and it multiplies. So keep doing that, my friend, and my friends, and I look forward to being on the next call with you, first Monday in June, and share with me what's going on with you, and keep doing what you're doing. The thing is, if you persist, you will be successful. It's inevitable that you'll be successful if you persist. You'll find the right people. You'll find the right leaders. That's the way I started. When I started, I didn't come into this with giants. I came into this business with average people. Average people, for sure. Eventually, later on, others came in that were better, but it didn't matter. The point was that even with the average, we did very well, very well. So keep doing what you're doing, and I look forward to talking to you again on these calls and talking to you. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the call, and I'm going to open it up. Thank you again for making this call. And everyone, have a successful week. Message me, and I'll answer you from overseas. And stay in touch, okay? All right, I'm going to open it up.